Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Cabral.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. We are here today with our second Cabral HouseCall of the weekend. Every Saturday and Sunday, hopefully you've been tuning in for the past couple of months or years to our show. And this is, of course, where we get to answer our community's questions. So all the different questions that have been building up for the past 4 or 6 weeks or so ago, we go back to the beginning. We start in the order that they've come in. And honestly, it's a real pleasure for me to be able to talk with our community in this way. So I want to be able to help as much as I can. I know, of course, at this time in our practice, being able to work with every single person individually is not feasible. However, I do have the great privilege of being able to answer these questions, but also oversee now an amazing team of health coaches over at Equalife, and of course, teach the next generation of integrative health practitioners at our IHP, which is our Integrative Health Practitioner Institute. So it's pretty amazing. It really is. I don't think I'd ever have dreamed. I know I had never dreamed of being able to do what I'm doing right now again, but I truly appreciate it. It doesn't go unnoticed. And that is why I don't ever plan to stop answering our community's questions on the weekends, on Saturdays and Sundays. And now at 5,000 plus questions answered, hopefully we've been able to help a few people out there. So that's always our goal. And we're always looking to improve too. It's just letting you know that it's always about, it's growth in terms of improving your health. It's growth in terms of improving your body, but it's also growth in terms of mindset and service. So I feel like I've achieved what I've wanted to achieve in terms of my health and getting the ability to be able to teach and share my message to a greater degree. And I do hope that for you too, that when you find your answers in what you are looking to do, then you'll be able to say, okay, it's my time to give back. It's my time to serve. And it's, of course, I think that's the flow of life, the ebb and flow and the flow of being able to just share and be able to pass that on. So that is my intro for today's house call. I never know where these are going and in what direction, but just always try to speak, of course, from my heart and how I'm feeling. And again, I appreciate you for listening and for being here and supporting. So first question today is coming in from, let's see right here, from Marie. Okay. And Marie is saying, hi, Doc. I posted the below in the support group, and I was told to ideally ask you for direction and for specifics. Thanks in advance. Is anyone able to solve this mystery for me? I'm looking to start taking evening primrose oil for hormone balance and was unsure of when to take it. From what I've seen on here, Dr. Cabral suggests taking it in the luteal second phase of your menstrual cycle, which I've also seen recommended by Alissa, Vitti, and Jolene, Brighten. However, there are a ton of articles recommending the women who are trying to conceive should only take it during the follicular phase of their cycle, as there may otherwise be complications in early pregnancy. While I'm not trying to conceive currently, I'm a little confused due to the mixed messages, Marie. All right, Marie, happy to answer this for you, and it's going to be a lot simpler answer than hopefully you've been led to believe. Okay, so I have used evening primrose oil in my practice, but I really don't anymore. And the reason is that I just haven't needed it, meaning that if you work on these deep foundational levels, it's a nice add-on. It's part of that icing on the cake, but not typically needed. So I will use evening primrose oil, or previously would use evening primrose oil on top of regular omega-3s, and I would use it for menstrual dysregularities, for any PMS-based symptoms, definitely for mood, irritability. I would definitely do that, okay? But very little do I use it now, and I haven't had the need, but I'm not against it. And I actually have no issue with women using it every single day of their cycle at all. And in terms of conception and a lot of these things we talk about, like let's say you're doing a heavy metal detox or you're using evening primrose oil, which by the way, not at a high dosage, is really shouldn't cause any issues. But what I say is women, when they miss their period and they're trying to conceive, should know that there's a possibility then that they're pregnant. Now, the nice thing is built into our bodies, you actually have, women's bodies, you have about a 10-day leeway before you really start to become the nutrient giver to that unborn child, okay? So it's not like it happens right away. So if you were to miss your cycle, miss your period, and you were trying to conceive, then you might want to or probably stop that evening primrose oil, and you'd stop your detoxification-based protocols if you were on any. And so again, like I don't have any issues with that. I really don't. And I think you can make it a lot easier than just using the luteal phase. Although I agree. I mean, like if you only want to use it for 2 weeks out of the month, you can definitely just use it during the luteal phase. There's no doubt about it. However, I want to get those nutrients into your body, right? The DGLA and a few others into your body from the evening primrose oil, even before that luteal phase starts. So I really typically just use it. I'll use it for 6 to 12 weeks, and I will use it during the entire month for a woman. Okay. Thanks, Marie. Colin's up next. Hey, Doc, I just finished watching your review of the latest food guidelines on January 12th, and a great video as always. All the conversation of inflammation and alcohol, etc., has got me thinking. For those of us that are pursuing hypertrophy training or weight training in general, we're essentially pursuing a constant cycle of inflammation and recovery. While this can be argued as good inflammation to agree versus some of the other worse ways we can find or inflict inflammation on ourselves, what would be the long-term risks of typical pursuit of physical or physique muscle growth be? I'm speaking as someone who has weight trained and eaten to grow for 10 plus years, and I'm in my 30s with great BMI and body comp. I don't anticipate stopping anytime soon, outside of the novel risks of acute injury, etc. What sort of long-term risks do you think we bring about from pursuing muscle growth-oriented fitness style and almost perpetual inflammation in our muscles? As I have said in my comments to your YouTube videos, I find you to be an excellent voice to bridge the gap between natural and conventional medicine. I wish more conventional medicine doctors were like you. Keep up the fantastic work. Thank you, Colin. Appreciate that. I'm going to take a little sip of my hibiscus tea here. All right. It's fantastic. And first I want to just say I'm not a conventional medicine doctor. Just want to throw that out there. And I think it's more difficult for conventional medicine doctors to be more integrative because medical school, and I have a lot of colleagues who are MDs, medical school does something to doctors that really has them get tunnel vision into pharmaceuticals and believing that that's the only way. I am a doctor of naturopathy, board certified. I've spent my life using non-drug-based approaches, and so it's what I believe in. However, I do believe in there's a time and place for conventional medicine. So yes, I believe hopefully I'm bridging that gap together. So thank you, Colin, for the kind words. Truly appreciate that. It's an interesting question you bring up. Now, it is all about balance. So the more weight training you do, the more inflammation you will have. If I'm looking at the longevity of someone's body and joints and also not becoming too catabolic in terms of training too much, I see the sweet spot for weight training as no more than 2 days on with a day off, 2 days on, and then the weekend off. So that would be 4 weight training workouts per week. If we were looking not for body transformation, but rather overall health benefits, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday would be the ultimate ideal, because then you would have a day or two for aerobic-based training and or yoga, etc. So, it's always the balance. When I was in my 20s, I wanted to put on as much muscle as possible, transform my body, be into natural bodybuilding. That's what I did, and I was successful at it. I was enormous for someone that's 5'8". I got to be about 200 pounds, and I talk about that on a podcast I just did with Steve Jordan. I'll definitely link that up when it comes out. It won't be out for a couple weeks, but that was my goal. I just wanted a lot of muscle, and my legs were enormous. My arms were enormous. My shoulders were like everything. And it was fun. It was fun. It really was. It was not healthy for me. That's for sure. It caused me greater immunity issues, and it caused me greater rotator cuff based issues. And it was not good. It caused me lots of digestive inflammation. So it's not ideal. So the goal is for you to just say to yourself, how can I work with my own dosha, with my own body type, so that I keep it balanced for life? Like, that's really where you want to be. I think that you should weight train for life. But there's also a point where I used to squat, bench press, deadlift well over 300 pounds for all those different lifts. And I don't say that to try to impress you, but like just to say that's an insane amount of weight. And I was putting that all on my joints for no reason other than to put on a lot of muscle. And yes, it works, but that was a big trade-off. And so now, sure, I'll squat, and I'll squat my own body weight, and I'll do that for 10 reps, and I'll lift heavy with deadlifts, but I won't go overboard because I'm thinking about, hey, what's this doing to my joints? And how much inflammation is this going to cause? So it's just checks and balances. And it's the best way I can answer it for you because it really matters how much sleep you're getting. Because if you're not getting enough sleep, then you shouldn't be training as hard. But if you're sleeping well, you're eating well, then you can definitely train hard and you can enjoy it. There's no doubt about that. All right, Candace is up next. Hi, Dr. C. Question on krill oil. I recently heard that taking krill oil during my cycle on the days where I may be experiencing PMS could help alleviate the symptoms. What are your thoughts on this? And if recommended, can I combine this with the omega-3 supplement from you that I already take? Thanks. You're amazing. Thank you, Candace. You're amazing. Appreciate that. It kind of goes back to Marie's question on the DGLA. And, well, Let me give you it from the start. So krill oil is great. It really is. Not as great as omega-3 fish oil unless you're looking for the antioxidant effects from astaxanthin. I've used them all in my practice. Honestly, algae oil, I've used perilla oil, I've used everything. You name it. I've used cod liver oil. And what I can tell you is this. If you want the best inflammation balancing, mood, energy, brain, all of those things, then you will go with something like our omega-3 support, the 2-to-1 EPA to DHA. Now, you can make a case for more DHA if you're looking for specifically the reason for that, like neurological based issues, et cetera. And I get it, and I agree. You can also make an argument for using krill oil. You cannot make an argument, not from a clinical standpoint. You can't make a clinical argument that krill oil will benefit your omega-3 levels more in your body. You can't. Like, there's just no comparison. Like, there's none. And you can do it for yourself. Again, you never have to believe me. Just use, ideally, the experience I have. That's all. So you can run, and this is what I do all the time, 6 weeks, use a product. Run your omega-3s before and after. How did it work for you? And you'll see that and I've done it for myself and in my practice, when you use krill oil, you can't get your omega-3 levels to the same level. It's just not. You'd have to take so many krill oil, even though they say it's better absorption. It just doesn't work that way in reality outside of a lab. And that's why lab research is great, but so is clinical practice. Now, do I like krill oil? Yes, I do. And here's why I like krill oil, or just straight astaxanthin, because astaxanthin is a very powerful antioxidant, and you get it from eating any of the things that are essentially deep, bright orange, like salmon, right? Wild salmon loaded with astaxanthin. You can get it from trout. You can get it from other bright orangey fish there as well. So this goes back to like what Maria was saying. Don't just use the krill oil when you're getting symptoms, because for it to work that quickly is challenging. You want to use the omega-3 support all month long. You never want to stop. 2 capsules a day for most people. Of course, there's certain contraindications like being on blood thinners, but for the most part, people are good to go with 2 of those capsules, soft gels every single day. And just keep in mind that you want to look at the underlying reasons as to why you have PMS. It's most likely not because you're lacking more krill oil. You'll get enough in those 2 omega-3s for your omega-3s. So now you need to be looking at imbalanced levels of estrogen and progesterone. So Candace, the very best thing that you could do, honestly, is run that thyroid adrenal hormone, which is called the stress hormones mood and metabolism test over at equa.life. That will tell you exactly what's going on. Run it during your time of the most symptoms, okay? Somewhere around days 19, 20, or 21 of your cycle. Okay, so Yvonne's up next. I heard a podcast in which you mentioned you use a PEMF mat. I also have Swiss Bionics PEMF mat, but I think it caused my trigeminal neuralgia. Is that possible? After about 2 weeks of using the mat, I felt euphoric, but shortly after that, that feeling stopped, and then I had my first severe episode of trigeminal neuralgia. I stopped using the mat and have tried to use it on and off, but the neuralgia returns. I assume whatever the mat does is too much for my brain and nervous system. Your thoughts? Wow, Yvonne, that's really interesting. So I don't know the company you are recommending. I'm not saying they're not great. They could be fantastic. I just have no idea who they are. And I have never heard of this. But that doesn't mean it's not possible, especially if you stop the mat and then you go back to the mat and it returns. Like it stops and then you go back and it returns. And if that's the only variable difference, yeah, I mean, absolutely. I would say the two are connected. What could be the reason? Well, it could be the frequency, meaning you can change the frequency of at least the PMF mat I have. The one I have is recommended at stevencabral.com/resources. My wife and I love that mat. I mean, I've recommended it now to colleagues and friends and family, and they really do love it. Of course, it's an investment, but that's going to last a long time, and they love it, especially for people that can't have access to a sauna. So you can change the frequency, and we definitely keep ours low, around 7 for that frequency. It's more like what the Earth would emit in terms of frequencies. And you could be having Herxheimer reactions as well. There's no doubt about that either. I would love for you to run some type of at least I would run the starter kit. So the starter kit available at eco.life, if not the Big 5, to see what's going on. I mean, are there underlying toxins in your body that could be causing this? Is very interesting, like mold or heavy metals that it could be reacting with. But I can't give you an answer because honestly, I have no idea what it is. I could not give you an honest, ethical answer. But with lab testing, you'll be able to figure out what is going on inside there. Okay, Jen's up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. First of all, thank you. I know your podcasts are readily available information, I know that your protocols and readily available information has both improved my quality of life now and increased the longevity and quality of my future years. As I listened to episode 1803, I apologize. It's not you, Jen, it's me reading, and your recommendations for alcohol consumption and conversion around sugar, I have a question. What about all the wines being marketed as lower sugar, cleaner, etc.? There is Fit Wine, and a few brands in the fitness industry have gotten into the MLN Scout and Cellar wine. I'm not on board either. Would rather enjoy a really good glass of wine than a bottle of something claiming to be healthy, but I'd like to hear the science behind it and your opinion on cleaner wine. Organic touch point would be awesome too. Thank you and salute. Okay. Jen, thanks for the question. It's a great question. And it's all marketing. It really is. And here's why. You cannot create alcohol without sugar, but however, now it ends up being sugar alcohol. And so we get, not we, I don't like to use that word sometimes. We'll say we get around the issue of calling it sugar because it's sugar alcohol. So even in protein bars, I'm not an advocate of sugar alcohol. I'm really not. It causes all sorts of gastric distension issues if consumed. In a lozenge, not as much of an issue. You're kind of absorbing it through the capillaries. But in the digestive system, no, I don't like it. I just work with too many people with IBS, Crohn's, colitis, all sorts of digestive issues with bloating, gas, etc. So I can't recommend sugar alcohol. Now, of course, a glass of wine, we're talking about a different story. So you have to have sugar, whether sugar alcohol or sugar, to make alcohol. Like that's just a fact. It does not happen if you cannot ferment something, and it has to be a carb. I've not seen any type of alcohol where you can ferment the protein can become putrefied, but you wouldn't make alcohol out of it, that's for sure. And a fat's not going to happen. So what you're looking at is basically fermenting some type of sugar to create alcohol. So it's all, again, semantics of what you want to call it in terms of sugar or sugar alcohol, but it's there. Now, sugar alcohol does have a different caloric count to it. So that is for sure as well. It's not your typical 4 grams. But I will say this. They are coming out with more watered down, literally they're watered down versions of alcohol that have less sugar, aka less sugar alcohol. And they're marketing that as, well, it's better for you. And yes, that's true. There's less sugar alcohol. It's much cheaper to make and they get to sell it for more. So surprise, surprise. The industry has pulled another one on us. So it's interesting to look at that. That's all I can say. And I'm with you, Jen. I would much rather have my favorite form of alcohol than drink something that's supposedly, and I use that in air quotes, better for me. I'm not a big alcohol drinker, and it's simply because alcohol and me, we just don't get along that well. We just don't. I always feel not as energetic and just full of life that next day. And that's only with a couple drinks. Now, having said that, I still do enjoy going out with friends and family and having a dinner, or now obviously it's been inside more, and sharing a bottle of wine with the table, or sharing one alcoholic drink or so. And that's basically all that I drink. And it is fun. And I do enjoy it sometimes. You certainly don't need it. And I if I never had it again, that would be fine. I went many, many years without a sip of alcohol. But now I simply do it as something communal. I don't drink, by myself. And it's not something that I enjoy to that level. I enjoy it because of the community aspect, like they talk about in the Mediterranean diet and many, many other, healthy generations. So again, if you're looking for that, I always say organic as well. Organic, biodynamic red wine. If you're drinking a wine, that's absolutely going to be best. And then there are not too many organic varieties of like a spirit, right? Of bourbon or tequila. But of course, a lot of people like the gluten-free varieties. But at the same time, if this is your cheat meal, if this is your flex meal for the week, and you're having a drink or two of your favorite beverage, whatever it might be, and you're already healthy, that your body is balanced, that your detox systems are working, then I say enjoy life, eat healthy, be well, have good peace of mind. And if you want that drink, enjoy that drink. But certainly you're not drinking alcohol to be fit. You're not drinking alcohol to be healthier. That's for sure. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. That is our show for today. We start the week off fresh tomorrow with our Mindset and Motivation Monday. Definitely stay tuned for that. Thanks so much for tuning into the show. And before you go, I want to make sure you do not miss this. To date, this is absolutely, I would say, the craziest offer that we've been able to bring you from our integrative health practice over at Equa.life. And that is a free functional medicine lab test for you, for one of your family members, for your loved ones, anyone that you would like. This is a test valued at $300. This is a functional medicine lab, the functional medicine lab that I first used now over 20 years ago in order to figure out what was going on with my health. And that is the minerals and metals test. It is a simple hair mineral analysis. A few snips of hair sent to the lab allows you to look at your mineral levels and heavy metal levels to a much greater degree. We will assess your electrolytes, your energy levels, your stress levels, your body's ability to use chromium for good, healthy levels of blood sugar, your selenium for healthy levels of thyroid, your phosphorus for bone health, for muscle health, for recovery, for energy. We also look at lead. We look at iron. We look at mercury. We look at aluminum. We look at arsenic. We look at cadmium. We make sure that you have proper levels of the healthy minerals that you should have in electrolytes, and that your levels of aluminum and mercury and lead and others are not too high. This is an absolutely amazing foundational functional medicine lab test that I can't recommend enough. And the reason we are giving it away is that we just understand that people who know more about their health are better to take action. They're better to take daily actions in their life that are going to help them get to the bottom of their wellness, their weight loss, or their anti-aging issues. That's the truth. When you start to see on paper your data, not anybody else's, but you, what do your levels of calcium and magnesium look like? What do your levels of sodium potassium look like? What do your levels of chromium look like? How about selenium? What about zinc to copper? Everybody's saying that you need more zinc in order to boost your immune system. Well, this lab will let you know what your levels of zinc are actually looking like. So it's an absolutely phenomenal test used for children, used for adults, children over 3, and adults of any age. Again, this is the very first lab that I used to get into functional medicine when I was a teenager, and now I have the privilege of offering it to people today. So So we are only giving away 250 of these, and they are absolutely free. There's literally no catch. The only catch is that they're on any purchase over $149, but that's not really a catch. It's using any of the protocols, any of the products, any other labs that you would like to purchase, and we are giving you a $299 functional medicine lab completely for free. I want to introduce people to functional medicine if they've never had a functional medicine lab test run before, but also remember, you get a call with one of my certified health coaches, and then you also get a plan to go about rebalancing the underlying root causes that might be causing you the health issues you're dealing with today. So please take advantage of this. This is a one-time only offer, and it is going on right now while supplies last. Check it out over at equi.life. That's EQUI.LIFE. Really enjoy this offer. Take advantage of it. Take advantage of me trying to give away as much as I can to people. But again, this is a one-time only offer. Good for the first 250 orders over $149 at EQUI.LIFE. Check it out for all the details.